Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the range. Tom here, and today we're doing a mashup between this Bone Shaker and the Dark Knight Humvee. I've been thinking about doing a mashup for a little bit, just had to figure out exactly what cars I wanted to use, so I decided to do this. So why don't we head on down to the range and let's get going. I'm not a big fan of the Bone Shaker unless you're making some kind of hot rod or some kind of rat rod or something in that thing. They're not. I haven't really seen anybody really do much of a mashup build between a Bone Shaker and something else. I've seen a few. I'm not saying they ain't out there. I just wanted to add my own little touch to it. I wanted to give it a rat rod look. Yeah. I decided to make a rat rod out of these two castings. And I didn't end up using any of the posts. So I think I used one. I can't remember. But I wanted to just use the back half of this Humvee. I wanted to give it kind of like an SUV Bone Shaker style look. And the thing was, I was going to cut it in between the front and rear doors. And then, I was going to cut it again. And I'll explain to you here in a minute why. Because the back half of this Humvee was a little bit wider than the Bone Shaker. So, I thought about it and I'm like, well, I've already cut it to this point. I don't know what else I want to do to it. So, I was kind of matching them up, like as you see here, just kind of seeing where they needed to go. They needed to come in a little bit or something, just something to cover that little gap. So, I thought about it for a little bit and, I was like, you know what? Why don't we try cutting it, the back of this base, down the center. So, as I'm kind of contemplating how I'm going to cut that in the center, I'm just cutting this back pickup truck half of the Bone Shaker off because I wasn't going to be needing it. And, just kind of trying to see exactly what all and how far I would have to cut into this. Because I didn't want to cut too much out of it and not have the room, or too little and have to use a grinder or something. But, what happened was both. I had to cut a little bit, I had to grind a little bit off, and I had to actually add to it. After I got the rear post off, it made it a little bit easier to actually get it to where I wanted it down the middle. Luckily enough, I had kind of like a table vise. It's a really small vise, nothing really big. So as I was filing it down, I'm still debating on how it's going to come out, or how I'm still going to cut it. Because I know how I'm going to cut it, but I don't know what I want to use to cut it with. Whether I want to use a jeweler saw, which won't leave a gap that big, or, going with the Dremel tool, because the wheel was just a wider, and it would make a little bit of a wider cut. So I still technically be able to take in some of the center out, so I didn't have to worry too much about if I had to add to. That's what JB Weld's for. So I decided on my Dremel tool with the cutting wheel, and I just kind of started at the front, worked my way back, and I literally cut the whole thing in half. From the tailgate portion of it, and that kind of thing. And I've been experimenting a little more with JB Weld lately, because I've been wanting to try to, do better matchup builds. Kind of try to make them smooth, like run smooth across the side, or whatever the case may be, to the point where you can't tell they was two separate vehicles. And, I did a lot of filing on the back of this Humvee, because at first it just didn't want to fit, it just didn't look right. And once I kind of got an idea of how much I still needed to take out of one part of this back half of this Humvee. It just like wondering if I could do it. And one thing is me, this was a challenge towards myself. So I wanted to see what I could do, how I could do it, and just try to do better as each build goes. So I took my Dremel tool, as you see here, and I was just kind of filing and I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I wonder exactly how much more I got to cut out of this. And I'm pretty much doing a step-by-step of what I'm doing. I know it's kind of boring, and I do apologize. And, it's just been a really long couple weeks for me. And, I'm finally able to get some medicine that actually really helps. But, I'm like, during this whole process, I'm not always like, I'm cursing at the thing, but I'm not like, I get frustrated too. It's just like anybody else does, because especially if you're trying something different, I can't wait for y'all to see the 4 Horsemen build coming up. It's going to be perfect. We got that at the end of the month. We got a new build coming out. I'm going to have to explain more to that in my next video. It is a memorial tribute build, whatever you want to call it, for Opa. For those who don't know Opa, he specialized in mostly the Tootsie cars and German manufactured cars. So, a few of us in the diecast community group, kind of got together and like, let's do a tribute build. And I'm like, hey, I'm in. We all threw around some ideas and stuff like that. And, we came up with what we was coming up with, because I don't have any of those Tootsie cars. So I'm going to have to be going with the German manufactured car. And I got one in mind that I was actually just kind of going through. And it's not going to be for a little bit. I'm not going to worry about knocking that one out just yet, because I have till August. I still have a build I'm doing for Cole. I got to get done by August. So I got to get that going. It's a much larger scale build. So we'll see what happens with that, And right now I got the back half kind of exactly about where I wanted it, because I knew how I was going to set it on there. And I also knew I was going to be using JB Weld. So, I had some styrene too. So I had it in case I needed to use it for like to connect 2 pieces with the JB Weld. And I did end up doing that as well. But I wanted to use some super glue and get it kind of to where I was wanting it set up, so it didn't look kind of awkward sitting there. I wanted to make sure that the sides were straight. I wanted to make sure that the width on the bottom was the same, that kind of thing that you look for when you're doing kind of, these builds. And, so I applied like a partial layer. And what I mean by partial is I didn't cover the entire car. But the parts that were gapped and that I wanted to kind of smooth out and make straight, I put some JB Weld, and most of the times where they were connecting to the other chassis or the other body. So I wanted to make sure that I got the JB Weld in the right spots, so when I was ready to sand it down and get it to going, it would settle into the spot and be easy to work with later. So upon making sure everything was taken care of, make sure it was all gobbed in there, as I should say, because it's kind of hard to get JB Weld to lay on smooth. You just pretty much got to let it dry and then just sand it all off. But I wanted to use the front end. I'm going to be using these 18-wheeler style tires that I had just sitting around. They came off of an old build or something, a scrap bin or something. And well, what I'm trying to make a bigger motor with this, because it's a rat rod. It's got an outstandingly cool looking motor. So, I'm cutting all this extra stuff off of the bone shaker, and I'm going to be putting pretty much built, well, I don't know, I think I'm going to be building it from the part up, because I've had this carburetor style engine part from a previous car, from an older casting that my dad gave me. It looked like a 4-barrel carburetor. So I thought about it, and I was like, you know what, maybe I should try using this. I haven't tried to build anything off of it or anything like that. So I got it to where it wanted, and I'm just trying to figure out if I'm going to throw like a turbocharged blower on it, or if I'm going to throw one of those old high stacked breathers that you'd see. So I took an old wheel that I had that I've already stripped off and stuff like that, and I started sanding it down, trying to get it at a certain height. And I was pretty much going to be using that for the breather portion, or the filter portion of this whole setup. And I drilled a hole in the top of the carburetor piece to actually make it look like it had that screw that stuck up in between the carburetors to put the breather cap on and everything. So that's kind of what I started with, and just kind of was trying to figure out exactly what all I was gonna do. I knew at one point I was gonna just test to see where I was gonna put it, how I was gonna do it. If I was gonna put a screw all the way through it, or just have it to where it just sat inside and it was just sat there. And that's something I thought of a couple times, just seeing how I wanted it to look. And all in all, it wasn't my best setup for an engine, but it also wasn't my worst. I had some thick styrene, so I decided to cut like the breather cap or the filter cap, for the filter portion of it. I used a red Sharpie, kind of drew it around, make sure I got the right diameter right. And, of course I had to do a lot of sanding, and I did this twice, one for the top, one for the bottom. And, I think it kind of came out too high for the filter portion of it. It came out too high. It was stacked up pretty tall, but it didn't look too bad. And while I'm doing this though, like the whole time, I'm doing this, it's just everything else is in the stripper, or it's drying, or just something. So I needed something to work on, so I decided to work on this engine, and show you guys kind of what I did, instead of just doing a final result all the time, because I usually kind of I don't know. But anywho, I'm kind of rambling here, and I do apologize. And no, it started off pretty bad week, and now it's getting a little bit better. I got my medication that I need to be on finally, and it's really helping me. I know I've already said that, but just letting y'all know. And another thing on the 4 Horsemen build. It's actually the theme for this year's drag racing, because a lot of people didn't know what was meant by Australian New Zealand influence. And just so you guys know, it's still okay. I've already made sure, talk to somebody. It's still okay if you already started working on your project. It could still be the New Zealand Australian influence, if you know what that means. To me, that means something that has to do with the country, whether it's a kangaroo, for Australia, or the flag, or anything like that. That was my idea of influenced. So I'm kind of, I'm not gonna give you too many hints on it, because let's just say it turned out awesome. I like how it turned out. You won't see it till the end of the month, but hey, I had it in my mind, and I wanted to get it knocked down. So you'll see that at the end of the month when they're posting them. And I don't remember what next month's Four Horsemen build is right off the top of my head. So we'll go from there. But I'm going to be thinking about doing a weekly challenge where I just randomly just challenge somebody to do a 1 week build. And what I mean by a 1 week build is you have a week to do a build. You can either accept the challenge or no big deal if you don't. You know, because some people can't do things within a week because they got work or something, you know, something that actually takes up a lot of time. But I'm thinking about doing that. And what I'll have, like, what I'll kind of do is, like, it'll be like, I don't know, one of the participants, whoever I challenge, will either 1, pick the theme, or 2, pick the casting, or, you know, vice versa. And, you know, I just wanted something, you know, some kind of just a challenge to put out there every week, you know, just something besides the same videos, you know, of what I do. And don't get me wrong, I like doing the same videos, but I also like to try to do other, you know, other kind of styles. Like, you know, the time machine I built for the challenge from, what is his name? I'm sorry, I keep forgetting his name. But when he put the challenge out to me, I decided, you know, yeah, I'm not going to back down. Time Machine 76 Greenwood. You should go check out his video. His turned out really cool. But anyhow, you know, you guys have seen me do my exhaust so many times. Well, I had some JDM exhaust that I've had, just, it was supposed to be for a different build. And I ended up using them on here. There was only 3 of them, but no, not a big deal. It's, you know, it's towards the tip of the exhaust, so it's not like right there. But they were already glued together, so I ended up using them and putting them, attaching them to where, like, when you cut them on there, you know, you see the cinch bar. You know, here I'm kind of trying to figure out where I'm going to position the rear wheel, and part of the gap there is filled in. You can see the JB Weld. Here's the way the exhausts are. I'm kind of building the exhaust on as I go. As you see, just got a little bar. I'm not really doing anything fancy underneath. It's supposed to be a rat rod, so, you know, it's not made to look pretty. But I did my best with my weathering kits and all that stuff. But you know, I'm pretty much up for any challenge. You know, even if somebody wants to once a week, each person challenge me to something, challenge me to build something. That's probably what I'll do. Is starting, let's do Monday. Monday is when I will be accepting anybody's challenge. I don't care if it's on my Instagram. I don't care if it's on my YouTube. Each Monday, somebody throw me out a message and tell me, I challenge you to build this. And I will accept the challenge, and that will be my weekly build. Or, you know, if I get it done, I get it done. I can start it, whatever. And the thing is, if I don't have the casting that you requested me to use for the challenge, you need to come up with at least 2 more. Because being a weekly challenge, I just can't go out to Walmart and see if they have the casting I need, or order it off the internet and expect it to be there within a week. So if I don't have the casting, have a second or third one and go from there. So starting Monday, that's what I'm going to be doing, this open challenge to anyone. They don't have to do the builds. And what I'll do is, if I get like 5 different people messaging me on Monday, I'm literally going to be putting them on my calendar. First week, this is my challenge. Second week, this is my challenge. Third week, this is my challenge. And I will get to those challenges. So, if anybody likes that idea, shoot me a message on Instagram. Leave a comment. I don't care. Find a way to get a hold of me. Throw out that challenge. Because I am totally running out of ideas, and I want something to come from somebody. And I will do my very best to complete that challenge, and I'll even do a video for it. It will be a video posted by Sunday. So from Monday to Sunday morning is when it's due. So I have to have it posted up before Sunday morning. So if y'all are up for that and you guys like that idea, start getting those challenges out to me. And yeah, I'm just rambling again, but you know what? I wanted to throw that out there. You guys can see what I'm doing. So it's not really that big of a deal if I kind of tell you guys what I'm doing. But all in all, this is what I was working with. And honestly, I love how it exactly turned out. You know, I had to do a lot of hand painting on a lot of it using my metallic silver markers because I didn't want to chrome this entire thing with my spray paint chrome. I didn't want to do that, so I just took a pen, my paint pen, and I just kind of dabbed it on a piece of foam board and just went from there. So this is what we started off with. This nice little Bone Shaker and Dark Knight Humvee. You know, both were pretty decent castings, I guess, to work with. You know, the Bone Shaker a little more than the Humvee. But I really wanted to try to get this going for you guys. I really want to get back up on my videos, but I've just been coming so blocked with things. But enough for now. Without further ado, let's check out the final results. And I'll see you next time at the range.